What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Drew from Team Future Strategy. So we are moving on to the magical ranged DPS adjustments from the live letter. So we've talked about at this point physical range DPS, melee DPS, and tanks at this point. So we go into magic. We'll just talk about the job action trailer real quick in order of the three classes that we see here. Black Mage looks great. We all kind of expected that, though. The joke I made in my pre-video to the live letter was if the devs play it, the class is going to be good. This holds true in Final Fantasy as much as it holds true in other MMOs that I've played. So that being said, I had no doubt that Black Mage was going to continue to be good. Looks very good, so I'm excited. Moving on to the Red Mage, I have a bit more experience on that one. I'm super stoked for a couple of reasons. One, I have no idea what that defensive magical barrier that they put up at one point is, and that just further adds to their utility, almost necessitating that you bring them on proc. Already feels that way, having Berets being instant cast, but that defensive magical shell right there, that's going to be awesome. I'm pretty stoked. Also, what I noticed in the changes is the mana gauges, the black and the white mana gauges for melee combos took substantially less. You'd have to have, for a full melee combo, you'd have to have 90 of both manas right now. In the video, I saw that he was at like 60 and completed the full one. So that bodes well. What I'm worried about, and I won't know until we see a little bit more, is does that mean that the regeneration or the generation from using your normal abilities, jolts, ver thunder, ver flare, all that stuff, are we lowering those values because you need less to execute a melee combo? Because right now it feels like, I think ver thunder and then is it ver holy, ver thunder and ver arrow, ver arrow and ver thunder both give you 11, ver flare and ver stone both give you 9, and then jolt and scatter give you 3 each. So I wonder if those values are going to come down a little bit in an effort to make it not constantly going in and out, because if they stay at those values, essentially speaking, two of each of those casts is 20 plus the 3 that you get from jolt to start them, so 23, so 3 combos of each will get you into that 60 range. So it'll be interesting to see how they do it. Sumner. Everyone's talking about it. When you look at who won the live letter or the job action trailer, I think Sumner is the clear-cut number 1. I don't think you will find a lot of people who will argue that. Now, we can break that down into roles and then argue Paladin won the tanks. Because Paladin won the tanks. I don't want to play Paladin, but looking at all the swords and all the advancements and changes they did to animations, I might. It looks good. And Summoner looks the best. I think a lot of people have been asking for true summons. And while it's not exactly what I had envisioned as far as how you go about summoning, I actually really like the approach they took. Essentially, you summon your Demi Bahamut, much like normal right now. And then after that, you move into 3 of your major summons, is what I'm going to call them, because I don't know what they're calling them right now, in Titan, Ifrit, and Garuda. What I really liked is their implementation of, after you summon those and they do their one large ability, that's not it. Because I was nervous. I was like, oh man, this is going to be boring if it's just this. All of a sudden, whatever you just summoned augmented your spells in a specific way. It looked like Titans was instant cast. It looked like it was either poison or air damage that came from Garuda. Obviously, you got fire damage from Ifrit. Stoked. I think everyone is stoked. I think Summoner is finally getting back to a place that it needs to be. You can see the stuff that comes up at the bottom. The 2 things they're more than likely going to talk about. I'm very confident if I remember the slides. Adel changing or reducing magic damage as well as physical, but magical will be more. There it is. Perfect. And then at some point they'll talk about the disparity of your magic weapons. Not so much of an issue with these classes. So, but yeah, let's move into Black Mage and the changes that they're coming with. Enochian will become a trait that is automatically applied while under the effect of Astral Fire and Umbral Ice. This is past where I'm at with my Black Mage. However, viewing from gameplay, I think turning this into a trait is a really cool idea. You know, a lot of abilities that were in game moving to traits in Endwalker, I think is a good call, because a lot of these don't need to be activated. It almost feels like this should have been a trait to begin with. So Enochian moving to a trait is a smart one. And then we move into, under certain conditions, swapping between Astral Fire and Umbral Ice will make new actions available. It looked like Fire 4 or whatever it is they're going to call it. The new action looked like it had a combination of fire and ice or fire and lightning. I didn't see any lightning and ice abilities together. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention enough, but I definitely saw where essentially two different schools of magics were attacking. I don't know enough about Black Mage to comment on it, but the animations look fantastic, and I think this is going to be, obviously we knew that this was going to be very well loved and not going to get changed very much. It's not a big deal. Red Mage, a new action will be available upon the execution of Scorch. Kind of cool. I think that might be the defensive one, but I'm not sure. Verflare, Verholy, and Scorch will be changed to AoEs, available as part of the AoE rotation. So this will be interesting to see how those change to AoE rotation now, and whether or not we utilize that. I think they're focusing more on the melee gameplay, which is great. A defensive-wide party enhancement will be added. They don't really talk about what it is other than they show that you have a shell. Even more reason to bring a Red Mage. You play Red Mage and that's your main right now? That's pretty badass. Also, is that an Allegan Eye? Is this an Allegan Eye? Because I don't know who they're utilizing for this picture. That's not Zrahan Tia, is it? Doesn't look like him. This guy looks way younger. Who knows? I don't know how to pronounce that guy's name. I know it's Tia at the end. But that looks like an Allegan Eye, that red color right there. Let's move on to Summoner. The Juice, the winner of the job action trailer. So they're going to talk about it. Significant changes to job mechanics. Okay, as I've already touched on, your summons are more badass. Super stoked on that. Everyone is stoked on that. Summoner feels like a summoner and how it should be. I'm very happy with what I saw. All actions applying damage over time abilities will be removed. This is what I thought was interesting. I've heard some speculation. I've also read some speculation on Final Fantasy XIV's subreddit. It's going one of two ways. I don't know why they're removing the damage over times unless I'm in this camp. They are focused on adding another magical ranged DPS in the next expansion that will focus on dots, which I think would be really, really smart. I almost think you're moving towards time mage, it feels like, where they're going to focus on a lot of dots, a lot of damage dealing stuff. Having more dots on the target will augment your abilities. I think that's great. Able to summon Ifrit, Garuda, and Titan, not just Eggies. Eggies? All of them are coming up. They probably play it. They do play it. But what I want to specifically talk about is the fact that it augmented your abilities. I think it's going to be really, really cool and good flavor. They had mentioned during this that no matter what, you're going to want to summon all these essentially, which is great. They have a gap closer. I don't remember them ever having that. That is pretty sweet. And a melee attack, it looked like. I think this is moving towards a really, really good new bright spot for summoners. I think summoners everywhere are extremely excited for what they're going to see. And then augment abilities with elemental properties, exactly what I just talked about. Garuda's abilities were all air attacks and they all turned green. All of Titan's stuff was all stone based, but it was all instant cast. Obviously Ifrit is going to be fire. You know, you saw the Phoenix at the end, which it just, again, they really changed this class in a way that I think people are going to be excited about, and it truly feels like a summoner now. I think that is going to be something that people gravitate towards and will be very excited for. So great changes. It feels like summoner got the most love. It was needed. The community will agree on that one. But all three of these classes are in such fantastic shape going into Endwalker. You can justify bringing any, and you can also justify bringing all of them within your static. I don't think anybody would have any issues having all three of these be in your static at one point and then having one melee. This magical range group is going to be so strong and so good come Endwalker that I can't wait to play. I'm going to level Summoner. I'm already leveling Red Mage. That's a given for me. What I saw with the trailer for Black Mage, if I have time, which I should, the expansion is going to last for 2 years, I'll probably jump into Black Mage. I mean, a lot of people really, really love it, and I would love it because, you know, it's such an integral part of the Final Fantasy series as a whole, the entire franchise. So what'd you think about all the magical range? Do you feel like I'm right in saying that everyone is doing much better and you would bring all three of them to your static? Who knows? Sound off in the comments. Let me know that you love all that Summoner love. Just put hashtag Summoner love if that's what you want to see. As always, I'm Drew from Team Future Strategy. We're going to move into healers right now. Take care.